Okay, we had some technical difficulties. This is part two of continuing the last podcast.
Because we just, had guests walk in the door and then walk out trying to tell us that it's 35 minutes later than it actually is.
Yeah,
There really is no hope for her.
no, she can't even read a clock yet.
No,
I mean, I have full faith in her, but
I mean, I'm hoping someday the universe dumps a little bit of good luck or something into her. So we were talking about the two sides that you show, like the side that I know. Well, I should say the side I know is different than what you put out to everyone else too.
yeah,
However, the side that you put out to everyone else, and then watching you yesterday morning when you seem so like schoolboyish and like the little giggles and the
mm,
it's like you're trying to make a connection and
hmm.
trying to be something that I don't think you necessarily are.
No, it's part of me. It's just it's more of a tool for me. I understood a long time ago that it people only really need to see one part of you because they can't handle all of you at first, and I just developed this other side. Well, I didn't develop it, I always had it, but I've decided that that's what I portray first, and I let them discover if they can handle the alpha or not, because it's very challenging to be with an alpha male.
Yeah, it is because you're literally being with an alpha male and me obviously being a very independent woman and trying to find someone who is an alpha male. It is hard because though my mindset is I can do everything on my own, I can go build my own damn house, I can go do my own stuff and make my own money, it is really difficult for me to be with someone who is truly an alpha because
Hmm.
I feel we clash too much.
Yeah, because it challenges your independence, and that's why the issue is that I have to put on that other side because there's so many women out there that think they're independent that as soon as they feel an alpha, it feels like a challenge instead of a help. And the point of it, okay, so this might help clarify for some people, is that when you're with an independent woman and you're a Sigma male, you're going to fail because you're portraying to be an alpha without the alpha characteristics. When you're an alpha male being with an independent woman, she will recognize that and understand that. And but the problem is there's far more Sigma males in our world that think they're alphas and portray themselves as alphas and then fuck it up for the rest of us. So that's why a lot of us good guys that can do something about it, can be dangerous, can be gentle, don't have a chance. And that's why we have to put on this stupid Sigma act in the beginning because we have to adapt to our surroundings of these weak men.
Do you think that hinders the ability to actually date and find the real one? Because
I don't think it hinders it. I think it makes it more challenging from
also,
because it's hard to weed through the ones you really want when you got to talk to mass amounts. Because everyone's got that short attention span nowadays. So it's you'll talk to one person for a day. If you won't hear anything for a couple of days, talk to them again, pick up like it was nothing, which is no problem. However, it makes it very challenging to weed through to find the person you want to be with. And like I said, the Sigma male complex is very challenging nowadays. It's I've noticed it with the women I've talked to lately that they're looking for a weak alpha male, which would be a Sigma. So basically the false alpha.
hmm
And the Sigma male will portray all the traits like, yeah, mother comes first, family comes first, but then doesn't actually commit to it, doesn't actually show the warning signs of it.
right.
With me, it's pretty abundant that what I say is truth. I mean, obviously, when someone has a kid, especially because I immediately assume the role, even if I know it's for one day, I immediately assume the role and take care of that child like my own.
That you do. That I've seen you do that many, many times
And
where you don't care where or what, when or how. It's a matter of you feel the need that that kid needs a parental guidance and you just step right in.
hmm because if I'm only going to be a respectable father figure for one day, I might as well make it count and leave a lasting image on that child so they at least have something to strive for. And for me, it's an ego stroke because I try to challenge their fathers um, to step up. I'm not challenging any father to push them out. I challenge them to step up and set the example. Like I'm the bar, so you need to hit it. Like
Right.
there's no excuse. My kids love me. I spend a lot of time with my kids, and that's the bar. Like you need to do that. You need to be a mother as a father.
Correct. You have to give some of the compassion and empathy as a guy,
Hmm.
even being a strong alpha, you have to give that compassion and empathy.
And
And
that's what separates a sigma from an alpha.
correct,
A sigma won't do that out of fear of what he'll look like after.
correct.
I personally will look like a fucking idiot doing a helicopter noise in a McDonald's as big as shit, just looking intimidating as fuck. I'm still gonna do it to a random child that comes up to me, because I believe that children are the future, and that's part of being an alpha is taking care of the next generation. I mean, so it's and that's another challenge with women dating nowadays is because as soon as they see that, they get attached. And it's like, well, hold on, that's not part of this. Like, my relationship with your child is vastly different than my relationship with you. Like, your child's an innocent. I know it's not going to do anything wrong to hurt me.
Hmm.
But the woman, I know for a fact that she's going to do something shady along the lines.
Right.
So the love I give to the child is not the same love I'm going to give to the woman. And that's where they get confused, and that's where I'm struggling because they see how I treat their child, and then they expect that treatment in return. But I don't give them that treatment because they're not an innocent. So that's how I rank it, and it makes it kind of hard. But that's also why I developed that other person in myself to initiate relationships because I found that the more I come out as myself in the beginning, it makes it very hard to build a relationship right away
Why do
because
you think that is?
I have no idea. And I think it's because of all these Sigma dudes that just don't know how to treat women, and but portray that they do, and these women fall for it. And then as soon as they see those characteristics again in an alpha, they run because they think I'm a narcissist or whatever because of these Sigma males.
Hmm.
And a narcissist thrives in the Sigma zone because they can portray alpha without actually having to grow or be an alpha or have to
Correct.
deal with suffering. So I think that's the issue because Sigma and Alpha are very, very close. It's like I don't know a good analogy for things that look similar. One's dangerous, one isn't. But um, I think that's why it's so challenging for me is when women start to sense the same characteristics of a Sigma, they cut and run because they think it's just another repeat of what happened to them before.
But they're just not willing to stick it out and find
Yeah.
out the truth.
So I got to be this lovable, doty boyfriend right away, and then slowly emerge in the alpha. But once I do that, I start to learn that they fall off because they can't handle being with someone like that.
What if you found someone and just strictly went straight to alpha?
I have done that. I've
And
been trying that for the last few weeks, months, and it doesn't work.
why?
It
Why?
attracts women. It attracts a lot of women, but as soon as
Well,
they,
clearly, because you had 9 responses.
yeah,
Um, 9 women, I should say not responses. 9 women that messaged you, and then,
yeah, they weed out within days.
but you think that coming off as an alpha, you would not get.
I wouldn't get anything substantial right away. I've proven that with extensive research of my own. Um, and this new method I'm trying where I show this other side right away is working very well because I don't think women want to know that you're an alpha, but they don't want to see it and they don't want to feel it right away because that's intimidating. It's very scary. Knowing that your significant other is capable of great danger is very intimidating for a woman to grasp because one, they don't understand the level of danger you are capable of, and
Hmm.
two, they don't know what to do in that situation because the only time they've ever experienced a man being capable of danger is when it was happening to them. So they don't understand that an alpha is not going to harm them when it gets to that point. When he starts saying the same things that their ex would have said, the difference is I'm not targeting it at the woman, I'm targeting it at the problem. And they
Correct.
don't see that. They see that they're about to get hit, they're about to get scolded, they're about to get mentally cut down, whatever. And that's the Sigma male complex because they strive to be an alpha and just don't know how to treat women. And so that's why I think women cut and run when they feel the alpha. But I don't know. So far, either strategy is not working. Obviously, I'm not dating anyone, so I can't really say that anything I'm saying is truth. But
Well, I think it goes on the other side of it also being such an incredibly strong, independent woman who works a highly stressful job, runs a business, now does this podcast with you. I was often told, well, you're so, you do it all on your own. Why would you need someone else?
I
Well, it's
don't
very
need
true.
someone.
I don't need someone else.
You want someone.
I want someone else. There's a huge difference. And when you put being out there as an alpha female, it's a matter of You,
You know, Mega Mom.
you just don't even, you can't find any. What did you just call me?
Omega.
Oh,
Women are Omega.
so much more than that.
Mom,
We
I could
already
I
know
could
that.
destroy you in a fist fight. You're an Omega. Physical strength comes into
Dude,
Alpha.
seriously. I'm your mom.
I'm giving you Omega. Come on, that's the highest rank to an Alpha. The
I'm your
difference between Alpha
mom.
and Omega is physical domination. So that would make you an Omega, which is just as equally ranked as an Alpha because the Omega is a strategist. But as far as brute strength goes, you got to be an Alpha. You got to have brute strength.
So then I have to start working.
Yeah,
I'm not working out. I don't know why you think I need to do this.
but you got to be an Alpha is primarily male dominated. Just because an extremely physically fit woman could still get completely destroyed by a physically fit male, just by
True.
simple biology.
Yeah,
That's why there's an alpha and an omega. And it goes all the way back to the ancient gods that the omega is just as important as the alpha, if not more. But
fine. I'll take the title of Omega. That's fine. Because I'm not going to work out, no matter how hard you tell me I should. I'm not going to do it.
you got to work out. It's good for you.
But do you know how far one
That's
mile
not our
is?
topic today.
Yeah,
Our topic is dating
I know.
and the struggles of you know what the worst part is? Like after you initially hang out with someone, how do you initiate the second time nowadays? Like that seems
That
to
is
be a
true.
problem.
That is a huge problem. I've
Like
noticed that
it's
too. Like you go out the one time. Now in my case, it lately or
your last time is kind of my fault. Like sort of my fault. The first time you come in, hang out, and you see a bloody guy open your door.
yeah, that's pretty funny. That was pretty hilarious. Extreme have to take them too. But even on that, in that case, it was just a matter of there was no connection, there was no chemistry, there was no. It was too much of a I'll do this, I'll do that,
Mhm,
but I won't take charge. And I
mhm,
think that's the part that yes, I'm strong, super independent, as you classified me as an omega,
mhm,
and I don't need anyone, but that want and desire to have someone super strong
mhm,
in and out of the bedroom, knowing that we have each other's back. It's like a lion lioness type thing.
mhm.
And the last one, there just what it wasn't there. I tried.
No,
I gave it a fair shot.
he was less than an omega. Like he was nowhere near. So an omega female has to find an alpha male. It's the only way. You can find a sigma like your ex-husband. He would be a sigma. He's a man that's capable of danger but does not
Hmm.
use it correctly and doesn't exercise caution. That's a
Correct.
sigma. He's definition of a sigma male. But that sigma male made an alpha male. But the omega female has to be with an alpha male because it's the only way a relationship can thrive. Because you're at such a high functioning level, you need someone who's equally there with you, and the only equal to an omega is an alpha, and the only equal to an alpha is an omega. And those are the 1%. It's very hard to find those people.
True.
I mean,
You
like
can get close, but it's,
you end up with the fake version.
yeah. And then you feel like you're settling, and then you feel like, oh, and I watched it with you. You thought you were with the person that you're supposed to be with. You bonded with her child, and it literally brought you down because then all of a sudden, all the things that we were doing to move forward, it took you literally 10 steps back.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how every morning we'd come down and it was brainstorming and what can we do and how can we develop this and then working to push my business more online and developing that, and we kind of hit a halt stage there
Yeah.
because she brought you back down, and it was hard to watch because it's like this isn't who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You can be you are an amazing father with your kids, but you can also still be an alpha and do everything you need to do in order to grow.
Well, that's what makes an alpha is being able
Right.
to do all that. And when you're with the wrong person, I think it eliminates the alpha title. It just removes it.
How do you how like suppressing it? I mean, you literally suppressed it.
Yeah. That's I don't know how many people in the world can do that. That's primarily my function, survival function. So I can't really talk on that too much, but mainly because I don't want other people to do what I can do.
Right.
So I'm not going to put that into the world because that's kind of a specialized skill set that I have acquired over a lot of practice, a lot of interaction, and that I tend to keep to myself on how I'm able to
Right.
fluctuate. I mean, I would talk to you about it off the podcast,
Right.
but
Right.
um,
And I think we have talked about it too.
yeah,
But it is, I think part of that is that's part of the reason why when you're dating now, your romantic side, because of your sign in astrology and
hmm
because we are so connected to the universe and the earth and all that is and is not, I feel like that love part and that romanticizing part makes it so difficult for you,
hmm
being as strong and as alpha as you are,
it's very hard for
to
me to
find
combine
that
those two
person.
traits together.
Yeah.
I found that it's almost impossible for them to coexist. It's not impossible, it's almost impossible. Um, it's very challenging because I've always done it in a way that when I'm at work, my alpha comes out, and when I'm at home, my romantic side comes out and my catering side. But now I've discovered that if I'm with the person I'm supposed to be with, I don't need to hide my alpha. I don't need to
Correct.
suppress it to please the person. And I don't think the right person would suppress my alpha. I think they would grow it. Because I can be a very dominating male, even in a room full of males that are also alphas. I can still dominate the room just off simple things I've learned over the years. So I think for a woman, for me to marry, would have to be quite the omega.
And would
Like,
you get married
I would, yeah, to the right
even
person.
after watching what I went through?
Yeah, absolutely. Yours was a fluke, a statistical fluke. I mean, it's
Because I don't
there's
think
nothing.
I would never get married again.
Why?
Why?
Why not? What's the negative effect of being married?
What's the negative effect of being married? I think there's still that
Okay,
little,
what's the negative effect of being married to the right person?
probably nothing.
Exactly. So why not take the risk? Worst case scenario, you end up in the same situation you already have experience in.
Great. And then be in debt some more and have
No,
to
you
pay it
just
all off.
no, you do it with caution this time. You put in
True.
fail safes, you have conversations, you make moves that are strategic instead of romance filled and love clouded. You learn from your mistakes. I think there's no reason why you couldn't be married again. I think it'd be very foolish not to get married again because I don't think marriage in the way that everyone thinks it now, like, oh, you gotta have a house together, paper, everything. I think marriage to me is goes all the way back to the old Norse teachings that you're in matrimony to this person and you're sharing your life with this person. You're not sharing your assets, you're not sharing your house, you're not sharing all these other things. You're sharing your experience with someone that can help grow your experience here on earth. And I don't think that marriage has to be about financials or anything else. Like I believe two people could be married in their own homes their whole life because
So you're saying be married and live separate homes.
I'm not saying that's the only option, but I'm saying it's entirely possible because we've seen it all the time. Look at
Mm,
celebrities; they never see each other, but they stay married. And like, oh, so my favorite one is Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Like, she just gave an award speech on the internet about how he's countless times he's come home still in his uniform from work or still in fake blood from a scene on a movie because he
mm-hmm.
would leave the movie as soon as they said cut, we're done. He left. He didn't wait to talk. He went right home. So I think that right there is proof of an alpha and an omega coexisting in a married life and having no issue.
Right.
So if it's possible one time, it's definitely possible twice. It's definitely possible a million times. And obviously we're destined to find someone who matches our soul. Otherwise, we wouldn't search for it.
True.
We wouldn't
Very
have an
true.
undying urge to find love if we weren't meant to have it in our life. If we weren't supposed to get married or be intertwined with someone, we wouldn't be searching for someone.
Right. That is true. You wouldn't be
So
searching for your soulmate.
I
So
think that just the simple energy and emotion we're hardwired with is proof that marriage works. I just think the idea of marriage has been twisted over the years, and it's something that it's not now. And I think the right person would understand that, especially for you or I, because a lot of people don't look at marriage like that. So I firmly believe that you would be married again, I would get married, but I think our level of marriage is very vastly different than the status quo of
right.
marriage.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
mainly because yours is from experience, and I watched your experience, so I gained a little bit. And I've had experience with women, and it's not pleasant. So
But so now, okay, not yesterday, day before, it was like 9 people you were talking to. Of those 9 people you were talking to potentially date, how many are you still talking to?
two,
in 2 days.
One day.
So no, it'd be 2 days. So the day that you came down and showed me that video
Oh yeah, okay, so it would be 2 days,
would
yeah.
be Tuesday.
Yeah.
Today we're on Thursday. So from Tuesday, you were talking to 9 people.
Yep.
And as of today, two.
Yep. And probably by the end of the day, zero. There'll be new people.
That is insane.
My weeding out process is very thorough and very quick because I know exactly what I'm looking for.
Right.
And I think a lot of people don't know what they're looking for. I didn't know what I was looking for a week ago, but
Yeah, no, you didn't.
I sat down and I've meditated on this probably 6 times now.
Well,
And I'm
you've also changed your list
Yeah, and
twice.
I think it will change every single time I think about it just because there's going to be another detail I miss. But I've also learned that my first list was an item of 14 things. My new list is an item of 4 things. So I think the more you think about it, the more you leave it open and you lock in on your core details. But those core details you can't waver from.
Correct.
So the fact I've weeded out 7 people in 2 days is because they've missed one of those 4 things. And that's how I judge it. So if you've missed one of the 4 marks, you're out. Like I firmly believe that we have thousands of characteristics in us that make us who we are. If you don't have the 4 I'm looking for, you're definitely not the person I'm going to marry. So I'm
Right.
asking for 4 specific traits. That's not a lot. I mean,
It's not. I mean,
14 is a lot. That's a
14 is
very
a lot. I
that
mean,
narrows you down from a million people down to maybe 3. So when you only have 4, you go from a million down to 500,000. So and then you can weed through those by getting more in depth, and then that's where connection comes in and actual feelings come in. But statistically speaking, I'm looking for those 4 traits before I even get my emotions involved. So unless they hit all 4 marks, they're no longer gonna be a consideration.
so what is the one thing when you're first talking to someone is the biggest turn off?
Mindset. If I hear can't or never, I immediately stop talking. Or impossible. Those 3 words are immediately, I'm done. I will not talk to you
How often does it happen?
every single time.
That's crazy.
Hmm. If I hear, like an easy example, I can't go on a motorcycle because I was in an accident on one, I immediately am done. Because not that I think that it's not a real fear, I think that it's not a real thing. Like I'm afraid to get back on a bike after my accident. I'm not saying it's not real, but I'm not saying I'm never going to do it. Because I will at some point. I will get back on a bike. I'm not saying it's going to be a huge long adventure, but I will get back on one. So anyone who believes they can't just because of some physical injury, regardless of what it is, I know guys in wheelchairs that still ride, that were in the wheelchair because of the bike, and
Mm.
they still got back on a bike. So to hear the word "I can't ever do it again" is just such a bullshit line because there's people out there that have lost significant parts of their body and still continue with an act that did that.
Correct.
So if I hear you can't, that just says to me that you're not established enough to understand that you have the power to change.
Yeah, you're not in the right mindset to say,
Yeah,
"Hey, I'm going to do
yeah,
this. I just don't know when."
yeah. Because if you say you can't, you're not powerful. And I need to be with someone who's powerful. Otherwise, they're not going to stay up on my energy level. They're going to fall off.
True.
So if I hear can't, never, or impossible, then it's done. I try to correct myself when I say things are impossible because I don't believe anything is. And I have in the past. So I'm trying to edit that out of my language. But I firmly believe nothing is impossible. It just hasn't been done yet. So, and the same with can't. I think can't and impossible are the same thing. So, and then never is just a false statement altogether because never doesn't exist. Like it just doesn't because there's a lot of things that I said would never gonna happen and they fucking happened because I just manifested them into reality by saying they're never gonna happen. So when I hear those things, it's a deal breaker for me.
See, like I always used to say I won't jump out of a plane
Hmm.
or I will never jump out of a plane.
Hmm.
Now it's a matter of I probably won't jump out of a plane, but
Well,
there's
yeah,
still that slight possibility
so if
that
a plane starts on fire and it's going down, your only chance of survival is to jump
is
out
to
of that
jump out of
fucking.
that plane.
You're gonna jump out of that
Exactly.
plane.
Absolutely.
So it's not never, it's not can't, or it's not impossible.
Hmm.
It's situational.
Yep.
So obviously you're gonna do everything in your power to avoid being in that scenario, but in that situation you would absolutely jump. Your
Right.
mind would take over and say, all right, this is our only chance of surviving and continuing our life. We're going to jump because the odds of surviving the jump are far greater than the odds of surviving the crash.
Correct.
So, and that's a good example because that's a situation that you would absolutely jump out of a plane. So if
Correct.
you're going to tell me you're not, you're a fool.
Correct.
And if you tell me you're not and argue that you're not going to, then why would I be with you? Because that means you're a coward.
And that's the same, the same premises. If they say, well, I'm never going to get married, I'm never going to do this. Um,
Yeah, that was you right before this podcast.
Correct. And but it is true. It's not a matter of would I never get married? No, I don't prefer not to get married at this moment. If the
But your
right,
selection process has been altered.
well, yeah, my selection process has been altered. I've fine-tuned it down. I've put down what I want, and I do have core, like the main core ones.
Hmm.
Are there other ones that I would like on there? Yeah, absolutely, but it's not manifested in there because it's not the core ones.
Yeah.
My core ones basically are someone who's incredibly strong, someone, and I've found over the time it has to be an alpha male because there's no other way to do it because I've tried.
Yeah.
I've literally given it every college try to find someone that, yeah, I'm the good guy and I'm going to do this for you and I'm going to do that for you. And then the broken promises come again, which are my absolute favorites.
And that's a textbook Sigma male. Is a
Correct.
broken promise. An alpha male won't make a promise he can't keep.
Correct.
So
And there's in some people and that I've dated, the traits are all there. It was just the wrong time.
mhm.
Like all of the stuff was there. Everything was exactly what needed to be. I just chose not to see it at that time, and I probably wasn't ready, and I probably wasn't in the right mindset
Mhm.
because going through everything I went through and being married for 23 years and out of
Mhm.
the dating scene, um, it, it's so vastly different. And for a female, it's hard because the first things that come out of their mouth, anyone's mouth, is, "Can we hook up?"
Yeah, that seems to be
Dude, I can have sex all by myself. I
hmm
have plenty of battery operated friends.
that's where the guys in this world don't understand that we need women to have sex. Technically, if you're
Mm-hmm.
straight, you women don't need men to have sex. Like
No.
at all. Like we're irrelevant.
Mm-mm.
Apart from reproduction, women don't really need men to be in that aspect of their life. You do need men because without men the world would be cease to exist. Um,
It's because it's the balance. It's
yeah,
the yin and the yang.
but the problem is these men that are good men, they think the only thing that's important is getting their dick wet, and that's not at all. Because I've been with a lot of women, and I've found that when you're connected to the person, it's not sex anymore; it's an experience,
Correct.
and I enjoy the experience, not the sex. So for me, I don't understand the whole hookup thing. I've never once asked a woman to just hook up ever, and I've talked to hundreds of women, and I've
Well,
never once
clearly,
sent
because
a
you're
dick pic.
talking, you start out with 9 by 7 a.m. and by
Yeah,
6 p.m. at night you're down to 2.
yeah,
So I mean, you are talking to a
yeah,
huge amount of women.
yeah.
When I was on the dating sites and now have just vastly just have given up,
Hmm.
it's like there were 30 plus likes and then you have to weed through them and you read some of the stuff and it's just
Hmm.
my all-time favorite was looking for chatting, something casual, but then at the end it's a long-term relationship.
Hmm.
That is such complete indecisiveness
Well,
in
that
not
I will
knowing where
tell
you
you what
are.
that means
Yeah,
because
what does that mean?
I did that on my dating profile years ago because that's an open-ended invitation to grasp a vast array of women. That's how men think. So they think if they put all three of those on there, they're going to hit every level of woman, which in reality is a really stupid plan because it just confuses women. But from a guy's
It is
standpoint,
so fucked
like
up.
an egotistical standpoint, it's literally a trap because then no matter what woman looks at their page, they have a little bit of something for all of them. That's all it is a ploy. And that's the first sign you're with a Sigma and the first sign you're about to hook up with a player. When he has all three of those things. An alpha male
I
is
can
gonna
tell you that is literally swipe left so and X
yeah.
out completely because there's no way.
On my dating profile has evolved over the years because the only way to date now is fucking online.
Yeah.
But my current one is long term relationship only. And that's not necessarily what I'm looking for, but it's the objective,
But that
obviously.
is
So
what you're looking
it
for.
is my objective, but it's not what I'm looking for right away. So I found that stating my final objective seems to give me higher quality women because and more women that would fit that role because I'm looking for that type of woman. I'm not asking for all three types of women, the
Right,
casual,
right.
chatting, and the long term. Because then you got to weed through all three categories to find the long term ones initially, and then you got to weed through the long term ones. I skipped that whole process by just putting long term. And then I get women who primarily could be possible wives instead of just fucking bad women. So for many men listening to this, stop putting that as your fucking thing and just put down relationship. Because even if you're just looking to hook up, you're still gonna find wife-worthy women that you could potentially end up falling for and be with. So that is 100% a ploy by players is to put those three things on there.
Oh yeah, you can. I mean, and women literally they know that going in, and then they still go ahead and do it, which is absolutely crazy.
That's because of needs, like emotional needs. Because women believe that they're not valued unless they're with a man. And I don't care what any woman says. That's the honest to God truth. I found that. I've tested that. I've tested that with you. I've seen you. I've seen how you are with men when they first come here, and you do the same thing I do. Like you immediately go and I
Because
need
you have to. Because if I came out as strong as I am,
exactly.
they'd say "fuck you" and walk out that
That's why
door.
when you made the comment, like I literally learned it from you. Like I watched the way you were, but the problem is your selection process sucks. You gotta edit your selection process.
Yeah, I edited it so much that I said "fuck it," I'm not doing it
So
anymore.
that's not how you edit though. That's how you eliminate.
Well, it's not a matter of I'm not
Right.
eliminating the possibility. If like
Did you delete
literally,
all your apps?
I sure did.
Then you deleted the possibility.
I did not delete the possibility because I still go out in public. I
You
still
you went
interact with the
for
public.
you went from an 80% chance down to probably a 10.
Perfect. In that
So
10% chance, maybe the elf is going to walk right past the door, or
okay,
maybe
when you're starting a business, would you rather give it 10% or 80% for success?
if I'm starting a business, I would give it 100%.
Exactly. So if you're looking for a husband, why don't you give it 100%?
I'm not looking for a husband
Okay,
though.
so that's perfect. So that's
So
the
yeah,
mindset you're
at
in.
the
Yeah.
current moment, I'm not looking for a husband, not looking for a boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'm concentrating my efforts on building the podcast to help just that one person out there, like we've always said,
Hmm.
and give the advice because so many people that we've talked to, that we've interacted with, that we've spoken to have said we have such a unique relationship, we have such a connection that when I'm giving advice or you're giving advice, they listen.
Hmm.
And that's the whole premise of this. Right
Hmm.
now, my focus is to um build my dynasty, build my empire, leave a lasting legacy for my grandchildren.
Yep.
If by some chance someone comes along, then they come along. If not, I'm okay with that too at this moment.
Hmm.
Because right now, what I'm focusing on is doing the best I can at work, building my business, and making this a very successful podcast. So,
Well, we should consider wrapping it up because we're at 33 minutes plus 8 minutes from the first part.
why we're doing so well
We're
though.
at 40 minutes. No one's going to listen past 40 minutes. No one's probably even going to make it to this point in the podcast in this episode.
They probably are.
I highly doubt it.
I think they
I
are.
guarantee we'll lose at least 60% of people 20 minutes in.
I doubt it.
Short term attention span nowadays.
I know. Why do you all have such short attention spans? You
But
should probably get longer ones.
yeah, well, I
But
think we're going to end it on this. And I mean, this is obviously a topic we can address again in the
yep,
future. But
absolutely.
this is a pretty common problem for almost everybody. So
It is.
Um, and just talking about it helps because you start to like even talking through it, I realize my faults and what I'm doing without anyone pointing them out. Just talking about them, I realize in my mind that, oh fuck, maybe I have been doing that wrong, or maybe I've been saying it wrong. And just that alone, just communicating with someone, especially your own mother, is helpful because you're gonna get an unbiased answer back that's not preloaded for someone trying to sleep with you.
Correct.
So like I can talk to a member of the opposite sex, which is even more beneficial as my mother, because I know that I don't have to try to watch what I say or to get some basically how people would word it nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very beneficial to just talk to people. If you're confused about why you're striking out and dating, just talk to someone. Talk to your parents. Talk to anybody.
Talk to anyone.
And I
Reach out to us.
guarantee you that your game, so to speak, will improve exponentially within a week
Yep.
just by communicating what you're doing wrong or admitting that you're doing something slightly wrong because it's not working.
Correct.
So,
And again, if you need to, reach out to us.
yeah.
Other than that,
I
you,
probably won't reply to you, but you can reach out.
oh, he'll reply to you. Don't worry.
Definitely will not.
No kidding.